Hello folks and welcome to the EV Lease Deals of the month for May 2024. These videos just keep getting better all the time, and there really is something in this video I think for just about everyone. Nearly all of them, if not all of them, are based on 3 months up front, 3-year deals on 10,000 miles a year. And let's get started right away. Don't forget to click that link to LeaseLoco in the video description if you're interested in any of these cars. Now the first one is a phenomenal deal. This is the Corsa-e 100 kilowatt GS50 automatic. It's 236 quid a month with £708 up front. That's on 10,000 miles a year. If you did want to play around with that, it may be with a Corsa, you're not doing 10,000 miles a year. 8,000 brings that down by over a tenner a month. If you brought it down to 5,000, you're saving 26 quid a month. And again, you can mess about with that upfront payment. If you did it zero deposit, it's only going to cost you 250 quid a month. 222 miles of range, 136 brake horsepower, insurance group 24, 267 litres of boot space, and a 0 to 62 of 7.6 seconds. If we look at the price history on this, it really does show you just how good this deal is. This time last year, it's unbelievable, but it was 540 quid a month on the 29th of May last year. At its peak, it was 766 quid a month. I can't imagine anyone leased a Corsa for 766 quid a month, but that was the price at the time. If you've seen my recent deal about shopping for the deal and not for the specific car, I think this highlights it very well. But right now is the important moment in time. It's £236.33 a month, and that's the lowest price we've ever seen it. That's a great price. It's a great deal. It's in stock. I don't expect this one to hang around. So if you're interested, click that link to LeaseLoco, which is in the video description and pinned as a top comment, and get onto it immediately. Next is the MG ZS. We haven't seen one of these in a lease deals video for I don't know how long. It's the 130 kilowatt SE EV, 51 kilowatt hour automatic, £282 a month with 848 up front, 198 miles of range, 176 horsepower, 470 litres of boot space, insurance group 27. This time last year it was £335 a month. The average on it has been 332. It's currently 282. At its peak, by the way, 376. Cupra Born is next. I think these are great. Far more interesting than the ID.3 in my personal opinion. Just looks a little bit livelier, does it not? 984 up front and 328 a month. 264 miles of range, 204 horsepower, 385 litres of boot space, 0 to 62 in 7.3. Let's have a look at that price history. 396 has been the average on it. At its peak, it was 384. It has been 20 quid cheaper than this in the past, but that was a long time ago by the looks of it. Currently 328 with 984 up front, and that one's a factory order. This one's in stock. It's the Citroen EC4, £307 a month. These are prices we were seeing on these literally like a couple of years ago, really. 632 has been the average over the last 12 months. This time last year, it was 737 quid. And for a long period, it's been over 700 quid. It's bananas. Like, no one's leasing one at that price, but perhaps they'd leased enough. Who knows? At its peak, 737. The lowest point we've seen on it in the last 12 months is now, today, right now, at £307.28 a month. The upfront on that one's 921. If you wanted to do it on zero deposit, it takes it down to 326. And if you did a little less mileage, you could save 10, 25 quid, depending on what your mileage was. If you went up a little bit, it's a similar sort of money going the other way. That's in stock. So once again, if you're interested in one of those, go for it. I know a lot of people a couple of years ago when they were this kind of money actually leased them following my video. And I think everyone's been fairly happy with them. If you're one of those people that leased one of these, let us know what you think. 380 litres of boot space, insurance group 23, 221 miles of range, 0 to 62 in 10 seconds. That's what it says on the tin. Honda ENY1 is next. Now, Johnny Smith has slated this. He did a review where he absolutely slaughtered it. Others haven't been particularly sort of positive about the car. But the main fault with it, from what I've read, seems to be that it's just a bit bland. And well, I don't mind bland if it's cheap enough. It's also very expensive if you bought one. The RRP is something daft, but that doesn't matter if you're leasing. The RRP is unimportant. £1,180 up front and £393 a month. 256 miles of range, 204 horsepower, insurance group 39, and 361 litres of boot space. 0 to 62 in 7.6. The average on it's been 559. At its peak 841, currently 393. I haven't driven one, so I can't give you any kind of insight as to whether any of those reviews are fair or not. Subaru Solterra, we've seen plenty. 1,200 up front, 401 a month. I'm not going to go through that one again. The Kona Electric is next. Now, I've literally just had this one in for a week, and the review video is out, so please go and watch that if you haven't done so already. In that review video, I've got the ultimate spec. The N-Line S is more of the sporty kind of top-end trim. £406 a month, 1,219 up front. This is a car that's in excess of 40 grand to go and buy, by the way. Well in excess of 40 grand. 282 miles of range, 218 brake horsepower, 466 litres of boot space. 0 to 62 in 7.8 seconds. A year ago, this was £739 a month. The average on it's been 529, and the lowest price we've seen on it is right now at £406 and 35p a month with 1,219 up front. And if you just want a good car that's going to do everything you ask of it and be easy to live with, you can't go far wrong with a Kona or with the Ioniq 5. Now, out of the two, I would probably go for the Ioniq 5. It's only a tiny bit more expensive, and just look at this. It's got 315 miles of range, 228 horsepower, 527 litres of boot space. I think it's a better piece of design, but I know a lot of people hate them, so probably you're going to favour one over the other. Me personally, I prefer the Ioniq 5. This one's got part leather, it's premium trim, it's a very nicely spec'd car, it's a great thing to drive. The charging time is absolutely rapid as well. These things have got 800 volt architecture, and it means they can charge at a high rate for a long period of time. A lot of cars advertise a high charging rate, but they can only do it for 4 seconds, and then they have to sort of turn things down. Now, all this Hyundai Kia stuff that's based on 800 volt architecture is really impressive in terms of that charging curve, and you'll be able to do long journeys in this with just quick sort of splash and dash charging when you pop in for a wee somewhere, and you'll get on fine. Price history on it, 421 is the current price, 521 has been the average. This time last year, 625, and the highest price it's been in the last 12 months, 658. This is only a fiver more than it's been at its absolute cheapest point in the last 12 months, and I think that car is tremendous value for money. I really do. I know it's £400 a month, but that really is a great car at a great price. VW ID.5 is next. We've seen this one a lot. 327 miles of range, 549 litres of boot space. This is really a direct competitor to that Ioniq 5. You know, if you're considering one, you should probably try out the other as well. £415 a month with 1,245 up front. Average on it's been 506 a month. At its peak, it was 633, and it's currently 415. Then we've got the ID.5 sibling, the ID.4, very, very similar car, let's face it. £432 a month on that one. This one's the Match Pro 77 kilowatt hour. 336 miles of range, 284 brake horsepower, 543 litres of boot space, 1,300 up front, and 432 a month. Back in January, it was £889 a month, which was its highest price since this began. It's probably had a bit of a facelift or something, because the price history only goes back to January, or maybe the Match Pro's a new trim level. The average on it since then has been £520, and for quite a long period it's been around about 460, 480. It's currently 432 with 1,300 up front. As always, folks, today's video is being sponsored by ALA Insurance. You can use them for things like scratch and dent cover, alloy wheel cover, warranties for used cars, all those kind of things, key protection, all that kind of stuff they can help you out with. If you use the code JIM10, you'll get 10% off pretty much anything that's available on the site. Their customer service is fantastic. It is a family business. They use tried and trusted insurers. Very nice people to deal with. Now, if I'm approached to promote any kind of company, product or service, it has to be something I either use myself or strongly believe in and have done a fair amount of vetting on. I did a lot of vetting with these guys. I spoke to several people within the business and really had a look at the products. And I'm proud to say that I'm sponsored by ALA. Please use that code JIM10 so they know I sent you. And many thanks again to ALA for sponsoring this content. Next, we've got the Polestar 2 standard range single motor, 322 miles of range, 272 brake horsepower, insurance group 40, 405 litres of boot space, 436 a month with 1300 up front. I've just put one of these in for review. I think it's in July maybe, but I can't wait for that. I love the previous incarnation of the Polestar 2. Thought it was a brilliant, brilliant car. This one is a revision on that. It's got more range, a bit of a nicer interior, possibly a better infotainment system. That remains to be seen, but I'm prepared to be impressed. 6.4 seconds to 62 in this one as well, so you're not going to be hanging about in it. 570 has been the average price over the last 12 months. This time last year, it was £616 a month. At its peak, it was 682. And we're not far off its lowest point, which was sort of end of Feb. It was 422 quid then. It's 436 a month with 1300 up front. If you want the exact cruiser kind of car, if you want something to replace your 3 Series or your A4, this is a car that's absolutely more than up to the job. And if you don't like the ultra minimalist interior that you'll find in a Tesla or something, you want something a bit more car-like, a bit more traditional car-like, this will tick that box for you folks. Lovely piece of kit. And another car that I could say all those things about really is the Ioniq 6 Premium. 77 kilowatt hour automatic, 437 quid a month, 1300 up front. You know how much I like this, so I'm not going to go on about it forever. 339 miles of range, 228 brake horsepower, insurance group 36. 7.4 seconds to 62. This time last year it was 743 quid a month, and for a great deal of the year it was well over 550 quid, over 600 quid. It's currently 437 with 1300 up front. Really a fantastic car. Nissan Ariya is next. It's the advanced 63 kilowatt hour automatic with the Sky Pack, 250 miles of range, 217 brake horsepower, insurance group 30, 466 litres of boot space, 7.5 seconds to 62. Now these Ariyas are in stock at the moment, but they are moving, all right? So I don't know how long these in-stock deals are going to hang around. LeaseLoco telling me it's been very, very popular of late. 1300 up front, 441 a month. Average on it's been 536. This time last year 655. At its highest point it was 702, and it's currently 441. Another big wagon for you is the Enyaq IV 85 edition, automatic, 82 kilowatt hour, 485 a month with 1456 up front, 348 miles of range, 286 brake horsepower, insurance group 33, and 585 litres of boot space. 0-62 in 6.7 seconds. 546 has been the average price on this. This time in October, which is when this edition came out, it was 738 quid a month. And for a long part of the year, at the start of this year, it was about 520 a month. It's currently 485 with 1456 up front. VW ID Buzz, we've still got some deals around. Obviously, this is the biggest boot you're going to find on any kind of EV at the moment. 258 miles of range, insurance group 31, 532 a month with 1600 up front. The average on it's been 681. At its peak, it was 864. It did get down to 487 on this profile at one point, but don't forget, it's only this year that this car's been available under 600 quid. This was silly money last year. Right up until December, really, sort of mid to end of December, when VW just discounted them massively to try and hit that zero emissions mandate. And then we saw them under sort of 800 quid for the first time, really. So 681 has been the average. 532 it is now with 1600 up front. Ford Mustang Mach-E Premium rear-wheel drive. 534 a month with 1607 up front, 372 miles of range. That's the longest range on any car in this video, I think. 294 brake horsepower, insurance group 41, 402 litres of boot space. 732 has been the average on it. At its peak, it was over £1,000, 1,068 a month. At its lowest point, it was 454. But as you can imagine, they didn't hang around very long. They were stock deals. This one is a stock deal as well. It's currently 535 with 1607 up front. 0 to 62 on that one's 5.6 seconds, by the way. So you've got lots of performance, lots of range for 535 quid a month. Not too bad, especially when that was over £1,000. It's insane, isn't it? Genesis GV70, 627 quid a month with 1800 up front, 283 miles of range, insurance group 50, 503 litres of boot space. Average on it's been 913. It's been up and down a lot, this one. At its peak, it was nearly 1,200 quid a month. This is the lowest price we've seen it in the last 12 months, £627. This benefits from that ultra rapid charging, as I was talking about in the Ioniq 5 and the Ioniq 6. It really is for people that are new to EV. If you're not going for Tesla, because I think Tesla is the easiest way to get in. If you're not going for Tesla, I think Genesis, Kia, Hyundai group vehicles that are based on the 800 volt architecture are probably the second best sort of easy EVs to live with, just because they charge so quickly at rapid charges. They give you plenty of range, plenty of performance, and the range is actually achievable pretty much most of the time in their cars. Not one of these things where it advertises 280 miles of range and you get in it and it does 160. They are really good cars to live with. This one's got the innovation pack as well, which is a bit of a must, I think, if you're going for a GV70. Incredible car, incredible quality, 1900 up front and 627 a month. Now, we've seen this a lot, the Lexus RZ 450e. The prices are creeping up again now. This one's the Takumi spec with the bitone paint. This is about as much money as you could spend on a Lexus RZ 450e, to be fair. It's absolutely top of the tree in terms of spec levels and trim. 251 miles of range, 313 horsepower, 522 litres of boot space, 0 to 62 in 5.3. 891 has been the average on it. At its peak, it was 1113, and its lowest point, it was 612. But as I said, the prices have crept back up. I think they did very well with these and probably hit their target, so the prices are going up. And I probably expect that to keep going up. I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see. £2,000 up front and 671 a month. BMW i5 Touring is next. This is the eDrive 40 Sport Edition, 84 kilowatt hour, 2,122 up front and 707 a month, 336 miles of range, 340 horsepower, insurance group 43, 570 litres of boot space, 6.1 seconds to 62, 707 quid a month gets you in one of these. It was launched in March, where it was £1,071 a month. The average on it's been 864. It's currently the lowest price it's been since it was launched in March, not very long ago. £707 a month with 2,122 up front. Folks, please use that link to LeaseLoco that's in the video description and pinned as a top comment if you're interested in any of these cars. It really does help. Finally, I've got a little van for you, just because I don't put vans on there very often. This just looks like a really good deal. It's a Renault Kangoo L2 E-Tech, 186 miles of range. You've got a payload of 3/4 of a tonne, 585 up front and 195 a month. This is a 2-year deal on 10,000 miles a year. If you went to a 3-year deal, that actually puts it up by 30 quid a month. So I think you're best off with the 2-year deal. You can even do zero deposit on it, 212 a month. Obviously, this is excluding VAT. It's a business lease because it's a van. So therefore, if you're not VAT registered, you need to think about putting the VAT on top as well. 11.6 seconds to 60. Decent little L2 van if you're a local tradesperson or you're doing local deliveries, anything like that. It just showed a manual gearbox in that picture, but it's an automatic. But you can't go too far wrong with that if you're after a little van. Folks, I've got a huge favour to ask, and that's that you subscribe to the channel. Lots of you already are subscribed. If you are, please click the notification bell. But if you're not, please help me get to 50,000 subscribers this year. Over 80% of the people that watch this video won't be subscribed, and that's often the case. It doesn't cost you a thing. It doesn't cause you any kind of harm. It really, really helps me out. And it really helps me out if you use that link to LeaseLoco and that you support my sponsor, ALA Insurance, as well. All the links are down in the video description and pinned as the top comment. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your time, especially those of you that watch the whole thing and don't skip through and you've got to this point. Massive thanks to you. I'll catch you on the next one.